the daughters of men.
They were fled.
Okay.
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
They took them wives of whom they choose. Continue.
And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with
Okay. Now, go to Jude chapter 1 verse 6. These sons of God, they are angels, but they have flesh. You know, we grew up with this mentality that all angels have wings like fairy. It is not completely true. They are angels that have flesh as humans. We will prove them from the scriptures. This class of angels called the sons of God, they are fleshly beings. Then we see when they left their position. Remember we read in Job chapter 2 verse 1 and Job 1 verse 6 that these sons of God, they presented themselves before God. Now we read in Genesis chapter 6 that they came and they took daughters of men. They took fleshly ladies and they slept with them, they raped them. They forced themselves on them and they gave birth to giants. Now let's see if actually they were men. Let's see what God did to them. In Jude chapter 1 verse 6, we were told the outcome of what God did to these classes of beings. Jude 1 verse 6. Okay. And the angels who kept not their first estate, take those words very serious. Okay. They left their own habitations. Now they are reserved in everlasting chains. And in darkness. That tells you, as we are speaking now, these angels, they are still in where? In chains. These are the angels, they left their first estate. If you read from verse 5 of that Jude downward, we were told that these were the angels that came in Genesis chapter 6 and they came to Sodom and Gomorrah. They were the one who started defying the daughters of men. So when you read downward, we discover these are the angels that were found in Sodom and Gomorrah. They were not sleeping with just opposite sex. They were men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women. Now let me paraphrase. If you read Genesis chapter 19, when Lot left Abraham, went to Sodom to dwell, let me say when the angel of God came to visit Abraham, that is Genesis 18, when he was about to destroy Sodom, Abraham said, if there be 10 persons that are righteous, will you still destroy Sodom? He said no. Then the angel of the Lord went to Sodom and he met Lot. He told Lot, take your daughters and leave this country, for I'm about to destroy this nation. The Bible said the men of the country, they saw the angels and they wanted to lie with them. So the angels that came in the figure of a man, the people of Sodom decided to lie with them. That is to sleep with them. Now they know that these people that came to visit Lot were men. Now how will men be desiring to sleep with other men? That tells you they were not ready to sleep with ladies or women of those days. They were interested in men. The Bible says they were giving themselves to strange flesh. The Greek word that was used there was heteros flesh. The word heteros means a strange flesh, a flesh of other kind. All humans have one kind of flesh. We all have one kind of skin, though they have different colors, but it's all the same. So when the Greek translation of the Bible used the word heteros flesh, strange flesh, another kind of flesh, was talking about their flesh was not our flesh. So the angelic flesh that God used to visit Abraham was not like our flesh. So the people of Sodom were desiring to have affair with those angels. Even Lot said, I have 2 daughters that are virgin. Let me give them to you for 25. The men of Sodom and Gomorrah said, no, we don't need daughters. We don't need female. We need those men that came to visit you. They knew that those men were not humans. They were angels. Are you getting it? So the sons of God, they are another class of angels. But they have flesh. They can disappear and reappear. That's why when Lot was taken out of the community, out of Sodom, they disappeared. And they rained down fire. Their nature, their spiritual nature is fire also, sons of God. They don't have wings. They are like man. They are like physical man. But they can appear, they can disappear, and they rain down fire. That is their duty. Their judgment is to rain down fire. That is that. I have encountered some of them by the grace of God. When I saw them, the first time I met them, a long time ago, I was kind of skeptical, like, what is this? The first thing I asked them was, are you for me or against me? They said, we are for you. We came to assist you. Then the angel that worked with me, I asked, like, who are these? What are they called? He said, these are the sons of God. They're like, but we are not told. They don't have wings to say yes. That's when I was told. Not all angels have wings. Their spiritual nature is fire. They have a physical nature like man. Those are the sons of God. Then we have another set of angels, another class. This one, they are very, very powerful and terrible. They can bring judgment. In fact, they are called judges. They are called judges or watchers. They are called judges or watchers. These are other classes of angels. This one, they take charges of territories also. They are in the heavens. They take charges of countries, continents. You can get that in Daniel chapter 4 verse 17. Daniel 4 verse 17 and Daniel 5 verse 32. When Nebuchadnezzar took himself to be God, these are the angels that judge him. When Daniel was interpreting, Daniel said, O King Nebuchadnezzar, your reign has been weighed and has been judged by the watchers, and this is their decree. You don't need to hear from God. When they discover that your sin has exceeded the maximum, they judge you instantly. They judged Nebuchadnezzar for 7 years. He became a beast. Can we read that? Daniel 4:17. Yes. This matter is by the decree of the watchers. There are another set of angels called the holy ones. They are different from watchers. Their purpose is to make the living, to make humans know that there is God that judges among humans. No. There are some of these angels that fell with Lucifer. These are the angels you see politicians go to seek powers from. Have you not heard of warlocks? They'll tell you this. They'll say this is not a native doctor again. It's not a warlocks. Those warlocks, they interact with watchers. Some of the watchers that fell with Lucifer, those are who they interact with. They are the ones that give powers to magicians, to sorcerers, to politicians, those diabolic politicians. You see those politicians that they can disappear, they can, no matter what you do, even if you don't vote for them, after election, they must win. They have the decree of the watchers. These are powerful beings. They work with warlocks. They are very terrible. If you are not a good Christian, you don't pray at night, forget it. They can sweep you off your feet. Highest thing, you will make it to heaven, but you will leave planet Earth. They are terrible. I'm not telling you to be scared. I'm telling you to be more prepared. God has given us authority above them. But let me tell you, if you are not prepared, you are not equipped with the whole armor of God, you will be swept off your feet. They make decrees because they are powerful beings. They are angels that excel in strength. So we have watchers. Watchers, they are judges. They make decrees upon the earth. They can decree. Okay, for example, months ago, there was a nation that patronized the worship of Satan and they mock God in one of the continents. I won't mention names. Few days later, there was a landscape. It was not done by God. It was done by the decree of the watchers. There are watchers in every country, in every continent. They give reports direct to God. When they display the satanic worship in their country and mock God, instantly the watchers made a decree, and the earth was shifted, and the country experienced what? A landscape. There were earthquake and tsunami and lightning. Those are the decrees of the watchers. That's what happened to Nebuchadnezzar. Even the son of Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel chapter 5 verse 32. Daniel said, O king, when the watchers decreed over your father and he became a beast for some time, and after 7 years, God gave him back his throne. He said, you know about all these things, but yet you decided to mock God, and you took the golden cups that was taken from the house of the temple of God, and you used it to drink wine with your concubine. He said, because of this hand that wrote on the wall has come to judge you, that this night your kingdom will be taken from you. This is the decree by the watchers. And what do you read? That same night, the king was killed, and the king was taken from the Babylonians to the Persians. So when watchers make decrees, instantly it comes to pass. These are set of what? Angelic beings. Then we have other sets called the holy ones, just as we read in Daniel 4:17. We also have another set of angels called the flaming sword. You get that in Genesis chapter 3 verse 24. We read that place before. We can also read it so that they can understand where we are talking from. These are the angels that protect the presence of God also. They are angels God used in dividing asunder the soul, the spirit, and the body. According to Hebrews chapter 4 from verse 12. 3:24, yes. Okay. At the east of the garden, he placed at the east of the garden cherubims and a flaming sword. The flaming sword is not a sword that has flame. It's a being, it's a creature, it's an angel. That was the same angel that God sent in 2 Chronicles chapter 20 from verse 25, from verse 20 downward. And he killed over 185,000 soldiers. The flaming sword. So those are angels. They preserve the presence of God, and they divide the soul from the spirit. It's piercing what? A bone marrow. This is the angel God used to dissect his word into humans. So if God wants to separate your soul from your spirit, he used this flaming sword. These are angels that divide the word of truth. That's why when you stand against the word of truth, these are the angels that will strike you down. Didn't you read in Matthew when King Herod, the Bible said he exalted himself as God. He made an oblation, and his people were now saying, this is God, worship him, he is God. The Bible said, and the angel of the Lord struck him, and a worm came out of him and ate him up. These are the angels that does that. They are called flaming sword. They divide the soul from the spirit. And you know, when the soul is divided from the spirit, that man is dead. Division between the soul and the spirit is death already. So these are other classes of angels. Flaming sword. We'll be very fast because of time. We don't want to keep you waiting. We have another class of angels which are called fowlers. Fowlers. These are beings that they set traps. When Satan when Lucifer fell with some of these angels, what they do, they set traps for Christians, they set traps for humans. In fact, they set traps for both, whether you are a child of God, whether you are not a child of God. They set traps. They are the class of angel that set terrible traps for humans. You can get that in Proverbs chapter 6 verse 5. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 5 and Psalm 126 verse 7. They are angels called fowlers. Satan and Lucifer also have his own that he used to what? Set traps and temptation for those that are in Christ. Proverbs 6 verse 5. Deliver thyself as a roll from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. You see, this they set trap to just hurt anybody. Have you not heard of people walking by the way and a hand just slapped them? It is common in Africa. You see somebody just walk on the way and he said he felt a terrible slap and he fell down and part of the person was paralyzed. These are fowlers. They set traps. Have you not heard somebody was working at night. And you see those dwarf kind of demons. I remember one time I was coming with some of my pastors those days. We were coming from all nights. We went to pray. And getting to our street, there were a set of dwarfs. There is no dwarf in our street. A set of dwarfs, many. They were just looking at us. I beckoned on others. Some said, we can't see anything. I called others. Look. They said, yes, look. These are fowlers. They set traps. These are those beings that create. Have you not noticed? Have you not heard some testimonies? Some persons will tell you while they were walking, a fish spider web covered their faces. When you cross-check that area, there's no webs. There's no spider web around. That's how you enter territories that are not censored by the Spirit of God, and you lost virtues. You lost virtues. In my place, I came from a place where powers are tested. In those days, when we were growing up, there are some boys those days, they go to some warlock, they take some powers. When they slap you, you start eating dust. When they slap you, you sleep off. These are the spirits that give them those powers. They are called fowlers. They set traps. Have you not heard, he that diggeth a pit shall fall in it? Was he talking about a physical pit? No. We're not talking about a physical pit. If you read Psalm 126 verse 7, he said, finally I have escaped as a bird from the snare of the fowler. He said, let the fowler and his trap catch him. If you read Psalm 35 from verse 5, 6, 7, he said, oh Lord, let the angel of the Lord persecute them and let it chase them. Who are they? The fowlers. Those that set, he said, let the angel persecute them that sought after my soul. So these angels, they are not after your flesh, they are after your soul, because if they can arrest your soul, they can arrest your flesh. When your soul is sick, definitely your flesh will be sick, because the sanity of your flesh is the sanity of your soul. Let's not dwell too much on that. There are another set of angels called noisome pestilence. Noisome pestilence. We can get that in Psalm 91 verse 3. This pestilence, they are noisy. That's why they are called noisome pestilence. 91 verse 3. He shall deliver thee from the snare, from the trap, from the cage of the noisome pestilence. You see, they walk hand in hand with the fowlers. The noisome pestilence walk hand in hand with the fowlers. They set trap and they cage people. Are we getting it? These are another class of angels. God have their own. The one that God have, they are the one that sets people free. They are deliverance angels, ministry angels. Didn't you read after Satan tempted Jesus? The Bible says, and ministry angels came to him. These are the sets. Let's not dwell too much on that. We have another set, which are called terror. Terror is an angelic being. Some fell with Lucifer. This is one that brings fear. Read verse 4 of that Psalm 91. Yes, these are terror. They come with fear. They come with bondage. That's why even 1 Timothy 1 verse 7, he was saying, you should not have the spirit of fear, because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, spirit of might, and of sound mind. So the spirit of fear is propagated by this spirit called terror. Yes, Psalm 91 verse 4. Okay. So that trust. Continue. His truth shall be the shield and the shelter. Now, truth is not just a word. Truth is a personality. We will go to that. Read verse 6. Continue. Okay, it's okay. Now we have the noiseless pestilence. I will come to that, but let me finish that of the terror. Let's go to Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54, verse 14 to 15. You know, when we read in verse 15, where we talk about surely they shall gather, but not by me, they shall surely scatter. We don't know who was gathering. We thought it was witches and wizards. No. The angels that were gathering against you, the spirits that were gathering against you, was mentioned in verse 14 of Isaiah 54. Verse 14. They were evil spirits that gathered against the anointed one. Read it, okay. Righteousness shall be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression. Who is oppressing you? Continue. Thou shalt not fear. Now, who is oppressing you? Who is causing you fear? And who is taking away righteousness from you? Let's go. And from terror. Now you see, terror brings fear. When you are terrorized, what does that mean? You are scared. Terror brings fear, brings oppression. For it shall not come near thee. That tells you is a being. It's not a mist. For example, when you find yourself in the dark, you are scared. You are being oppressed. Like something may happen. Something is hiding behind the dark. That is terror. They walk in the dark. Terrors walk in the dark. So these are another class of spirits. Continue. Behold, they shall surely. Who is the day? What we read in the verse 14. The terror. Now, behold, they shall. When English word use the word they, means you're talking about personality. They are not one. They shall surely walk together, but not by God. They shall do what? They shall scatter. Now, let's go back now to Psalm 91. Let's see what terror does. Psalm 91. Let's continue from verse 7 said, the 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 on the right hand, it shall not come near thee. Only with the eyes will thou behold them. 11 says, he shall give his angel charge over thee to keep thee in all thy way. 12. Let's have. There is back from 13. 91 verse 13. Yes. Okay. Okay. That's it. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go to verse 2. Yes. Let's read from verse 2. I want to show you 91 verse 2. Yes. Yes. No. That's not 91 verse 2. That's not 91. Yes, that's 91. Yes. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. In him will I trust. Continue. Yes. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, from the noisome pestilence. Yes. He shall cover thee with his feathers. Okay. Okay. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror. No, I thought the terror is just maybe one darkness. No. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror. Meaning, terror brings fear at night. They bring oppression. They gather. They operate to harm, to cause pain. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror that walk when? That walk in darkness. Meaning they walk at night. They walk. Meaning it's the personality. Means is an entity. The terror that walk at night. The terror. The opposite of this, the one God have, is the spirit of faith. Is the spirit of faith. So when Lucifer fell with some of the angels, he took part of them. So the spirit of faith which he took from the angels of God, it became the angels of terror that bring fear. That's why when you are casting out devils, at times you say you yell at them, and with that